I have dedicated my professional career to the study and control of arthropods.
Okay, I'm going to try to streamline this one. This is my third take on this. I keep running over. I'm going to make this a two-part. This portion of it on gastropods is going to be a two-parter, but I want to cover slugs in the next part. I'm going to cover snails in this part. So I want to. I found this actually. I went down and I was able to find this on the shelf. This magazine here, of Sea and Shore magazine, is it's now out of print, but it's a pop science magazine dedicated to seashells and other marine life. And it's got everything from just scientists and specialists that publish in it, as well as just interested amateurs. And so it's got a wide variety of things on it. And I'd written several articles in this journal actually, but one of them is right here. I can't read that, I'm sure, but it's called "Behind the Green Opercula," which I thought was funny. The sex life of mollusks. Behind the Green Door was a famous kind of a landmark adult film. Opercula is the door that mollusks use to cover their shell. Anyway, it's a geek joke. So anyway, this article, and in part of this article on here, which is all about all mollusks, I talk about the bizarre sex life of pulmonate gastropods. And I'm going to read you the subtitle of this section because I thought it was funny. It's part 2, the bizarre sex life of pulmonate gastropods. Hermaphrodites, multiple sex partners, love swings, S&M, B&D, genital mutilation, and spermophagy. Is this the sickest, darkest underbelly of the internet, or a day in the life of our friendly garden slug? I thought that was funny. But anyway, so I talk about snails, and so I'll put a link up to this site, if any of you are interested in reading the article. So anyway, I'm going to talk about slugs. Okay, snails, I'm sorry. Snails are interesting because snails and slugs both are simultaneous hermaphrodites. I talked about those in the last section, meaning they have male and female function at the same time during their lives. Typically, a typical mating experience for a snail or a slug is they kind of pull up to each other in the 69 position, and they cross-fertilize. They have vaginas, they have penis, they have peni, and they will cross-fertilize each other, and and then go their separate ways and lay eggs. They both will lay eggs. That's pretty common, pretty typical way. But with snails, they do this bizarre behavior. It's so bizarre. Not all snails. In fact, it's certain families that do this, including the Helicidae, which is the escargot snails, Helix rosacea, or the common garden snail, Helix aspera. Those are species that engage in this behavior. But they have what's called love darts. And these are a sharp, serrated, bladed weapon that they can extrude from their bodies. And they either inject it into the other individual, shoot it out into the other individual, or they can actually stab it repeatedly into the other individual. Okay? So they come up, that's their courtship, that's their flirtation. Two snails meet, potentially want to mate with each other. They start stabbing each other repeatedly. In some species that have been studied, 40% of the time they don't survive this courtship period. 40% of the time, one or both of them crawls away and dies, bleeds to death. Sometimes after mating, sometimes before mating. This can last hours too. This repeated stabbing can go for hours long. Then that's before mating even begins to occur. So the question is, why would they do that? What the hell are these little guys thinking? Okay, what kind of a behavior is that? How adaptive is it to, it's the Ted Bundy approach to copulation. I love you. I think I'm going to stab you in the head. But what do they do? So some people have speculated. There's been kind of a ridiculous. This has been studied since the 19th century. People trying to find out why they would do such a thing. Some of the speculation has gone into the idea that they're giving each other a calcium gift, meaning because calcium they make their shell out of is rare, or is limiting in terrestrial habitat. So therefore, by giving this gift, they're ensuring survival, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Not when there's a 40% potential mortality rate. There certainly are nicer ways to give a gift of calcium than, again, stabbing a dart into the brain of your lover. So, the question is, why do they do this? Well, parsimony. Get down to the best possible explanation, one that works, and that has to do with, I think it's Lee is the author. I'll put a link up. I've got this book right here, Sperm Competition and Sexual Selection, which was actually a textbook for a class I took. It's a fantastic, incredible book. It covers sperm competition from everything from bacteria to humans. Different articles by different authors. It's great. But they cover in there part of the best explanation for this is that it's an anti-cheating mechanism. And you think, what the fudge? Anti-cheating mechanism? Well, hermaphrodites, as it turns out, biologically, it makes sense that they would be cheaters. And I don't mean cheating like infidelity. I mean cheating as in cheating on sex. Okay, if you're a simultaneous hermaphrodite, you are supposed to take sperm into your body and fertilize your eggs, and give sperm to your partner and fertilize their eggs, right? That's playing nice. That's doing it the right way. But there's an incentive, if you think about it, to cheat at that. The incentive being, if you can fertilize but not allow yourself to be fertilized, how much more energy do you have? I mean, if you're not producing any eggs at all, say you just say, screw it, I'm not going to produce eggs. I'm just going to go around and mate as a male. And I'll pretend to mate as a female, but I'm not going to actually allow it. In fact, they digest the sperm. In species that do that, they actually will just digest their partner's sperm, use it for their own nutrition, and go on their way. Cheating. That's common, and we find it in all throughout animal kingdom. When we have simultaneous hermaphrodites, we find the potential for this mechanism of cheating going on, and lots of species have evolved ways around it. So it makes sense that snails would do the same thing. And what we find is the article suggests that this DART mechanism is a way to avoid cheating. And you think, how does that work? Well, think about this. Say you're a cheater. You're a cheater. You will not mate as a female. You will only mate as a male. Your partner doesn't know that. Your partner's not cheating. Come up to each other, start stabbing each other, repeatedly. You've got a 40% chance of dying. You fertilize your partner, and then you crawl away wounded. Your partner dies. What's your reproductive success? 0. You die. What's your reproductive success? 0. I mean, if your partner survives and lays your eggs, then you've got some reproductive success. If you died. The point of it is it kind of gets complicated when you sort of have to list out the numbers game. But what it works out to be is that because of the high cost of reproduction, the potential mortality, the wounding, the energy it takes to heal, it's in your best interest to hedge your bets and fertilize and take the sperm of the other one. That way, if they die, you've got something out of the deal. You've got some reproductive success. If you die, you've still got some reproductive success. You've increased the odds that you will have progeny in the next generation by not cheating. And it sounds really weird, but it works. It works out. This is it's an extreme, it's a horrific, it's a brutal anti-cheating mechanism. But it works. Other nicer ways are like there's the groupers, the fish, the big reef fish, the groupers. They're simultaneous hermaphrodites as well, and what they do is they put out a tiny bit of sperm and then a tiny bit of eggs, a tiny bit of sperm, tiny bit of eggs, and they go back and forth so that if one's cheating, they'll just swim away. So they didn't waste their resources on a cheater. So it's a sort of a tit for tat approach where they're both putting out a little bit of each of the gametic type at a time. They're taking turns, and they will only put out the next lot if the other one's not cheating. Much nicer than stabbing your lover in the head, but what can you say? Anyway, I'm going to continue on with slugs because you think that's sick and twisted? Wait till we get to the slugs, okay? Slugs are weird, okay? If stabbing your partner in the head with a dart is normal, well, compared to slugs, it is. All right, I'll talk to you later.